One of many Calcio Guys derbies happened this weekend here on the Calcio Guys. Gianni, Adreano, I'm Nicholas, and this one was between half of Gianni's teams and one of my teams, 100% of my teams on Friday afternoon, Juve-Napoli. We talked about it last week with Joe and Luca, but that was a preview. We get the recap this week, but I got to first ask, guys, how you guys doing?
Exhausted.
Gianni has been on a burner these last couple of days. He's on fire, Gianni, in more ways than one. But just happy to be back, all three of us together. And again, we were supposed to record Monday night, couldn't, rescheduled to tonight. So I'm glad that we're all here and to talk culture.
It feels like it's been a while since Juve-Napoli. I almost forget what happened, but it was Friday at the Allianz Stadium. One goal, Federico Gatti in the 51st minute. Off a header, I believe it was from across from Cambiaso. Just your typical Juve win. Put guys behind the ball. You know, they didn't have. I thought they played well. I thought they had the better chances in the first half. And once they scored at the 51st minute, I think at that point it's like almost game over. You know, with the way Juve's been playing this season, it's almost their blueprint. I think the fact that they scored in the 51st minute and not, let's say, the 6th minute is a huge advantage because then, you know, at the 51st minute, you know, I think they did attack a bit more for 10 more minutes, and they're like, you know what, okay, let's sit back, let's let Napoli have the ball. They had one shot on target, Napoli, with 67% possession. So obviously something worked out. I was very satisfied. It wasn't one of those games where Juve struggled to win 1-0. As crazy as it sounds, I think they convincingly won 1-0, even though they had a 33% possession. I think my favorite stat from this game was the fact that Osimhen had 41 touches and 0 inside Juve's box, which is pretty crazy to think about for a striker. And I don't know who had the one shot on target. I guess it was the save on, was it Di Lorenzo? I guess that was the only shot on target. Yeah, I guess that was the only shot on target then. I wasn't too sure if it was offside at first, but you look back on the replay, it did look onside. It looked like it would have counted if it went in. Huge save by Chesney. Yeah, just one of those games. Napoli, I think it's 3 losses now under Mazzarri, Gianni?
There was Juve, there was Inter and Real.
If you're calling it Real, yeah.
Yeah. So 3. I mean, you're losing against teams that are performing well. So
3 top clubs, like you can't really blame them that much. The loss against Empoli. Was that with Mazzarri?
I don't think so. Hold on. Time has become a blur for me.
Yeah,
1-0, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it was 1-0. It was a month ago on November 12th.
In the rain, if I remember.
No, it was Rudy Garcia.
Garcia.
Yeah, okay. That was his last game. Last game.
Yeah. No, time has become a blur for me. I mean, yeah, the losses have come against teams that, like, the Juve game was winnable. I mean, Kvaratskhelia missed a beautiful chance. Szczesny made a great save on Di Lorenzo. Napoli dominated in the first part of the game. They just couldn't get any chances going. They couldn't capitalize on anything. You know, at the end of the day, you got to score on your chances, right? Juve did that. Napoli didn't. So that's why Juve are the winners. So I wouldn't, like, it's more like Napoli could have made this game a draw. They just need to go back and realize and really reflect on the actions that they took that made this loss happen. Now, I don't think they're going to be overly hard on themselves, especially that the game after that was the Champions League game and they won 2-0. I think it was just more of a sense. It's like, okay, it sucks because it's one of those games where you're going to look back at it and you're like, oh, that could have been a completely different result, and it's going to sting a bit. It's going to sting a bit. It feels like as if the Juventus got away with one. So they're definitely going to be circling the next matchup when they meet up again for the second half of the season. That's the return leg, I guess you want to call it, for lack of a better term. This time we'll be at home, so that would be the big difference maker. So that might help out a lot.
I saw somewhere, job, but not Napoli as this year. I don't know. They've been better on the road than on.
They're
Than at
they're a
home.
better road team. They haven't had a win at home until Tuesday, and prior to that
Okay,
was the last win was September 27th.
Jesus. So
Yeah, they already had they were like under after that loss to Empoli, they had
yeah.
4 losses at home when last season they only had 3 in the entire year,
Wow.
including champions.
Wow. 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 Goes
It's
to show you.
yeah, so it's definitely a mentality issue. I guess you could call it the Scudetto hangover. But also, it doesn't help that you lost key roles, key players. We're not going to beat the dead horse because we've gone through this discussion many, many
Yeah.
times. So, yeah, but if we're going back to the main point of discussion was the Juve Napoli game, essentially that's what it was. The better team won. The team that was able to finish up on their chances, they won the game. Napoli didn't. So, okay, you take the lessons learned from that game and move on to the next. And you just, like I said, just wait till the next meeting and hopefully have a different result.
Even on the goal, it was. I don't remember who was defending Gatti there. If it was Rahmani, no, if it was Ostiga or who was it? Whoever it was, they're terrible marking. I mean, it was almost a free header.
Was
If I'm not,
was it Di Lorenzo?
I don't think so.
I was
don't
listening
wanna
to it on the
say-
radio in the car,
I
so
don't
I
want to
didn't have a
say
chance to.
yes or no. I don't remember. I'd have to go look back. But whoever it was, I could have sworn it was either Rahmani or Ostigard or whoever was playing defense.
Yeah.
Almost
The
a
game
free header
started
for
when I was on the way
Gatti.
back home, so I didn't get a chance to see anything. I was
Yeah.
listening to it the whole way, and yeah, the radio silence when Juventus scored was astounding.
All-time low. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was from what I remember seeing. It was. I mean, Nick, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a pretty free header, and Gatti has been the man of the moment, I think, for Juventus. He's obviously performed well for Juve, and I think this is just another one of these games where he performed well, and he's on that roll of good form. So I think Juve will obviously take that. Napoli on the other side. I mean, it stings for sure. Because they're still there, they're still in the mix for top 4. So, it's a shame, and I think, like you said, Gianni, the Kvaratskhelia missed there. Last year he probably doesn't miss that. This year it's a different year. It's a different mentality thing, and he misses that. So it's one of those, I think. But I think, like Gianni said, I think like we can all agree, even though it was ugly, and even though it was not the football people want to watch, the better team on the pitch won. So there's not much more I don't think you can say about that.
Are you guys bringing Gatti to Euro 2024? I know, completely off topic. Is he going in Germany?
For me, he would be on the bubble. For me, on the bubble. I don't want to say absolutely no.
What other center back is like guaranteed the starting 2? Was it Mancini you're going to put as one of the first 2?
Bastoni.
Bastoni,
I feel like
yeah.
Acerbi still has his job.
It's Bastoni and who? I think that's for me. That's still the thing. I know people are going to say it's Acerbi and who, or Acerbi and Bastoni. I don't know. I kind of agree with what Nick says, and he's probably still in the squad, even though should he be there? I don't know.
No, Gatti would. I think Gatti makes it on the bench. To be honest with you,
he's not.
I think he's third on the list because he's prone to making mistakes too. Like despite the goals that he's been scoring, a lot of the goals against that happened to Juve, or even like not really even the goals against, like some misplays in the back end, always tend to involve him in some way. So even though he is producing, he's also a bit of a liability. So. I'm not saying Mancini, and I'm not.
December.
Yeah, and I'm not
December.
Yeah.
What happens in May? Closer to the tournament.
Fair, but I don't think a player matures in that aspect in the span of 5-6 months. I've been waiting for Mancini to mature with his attitude since last year or 2 years ago, and it still hasn't happened yet. Because that's what holds Mancini back. Honestly, if Mancini wasn't an idiot and an asshole and a dumbass with his actions, sometimes, like I get it, to have passion, to have grinta, to have that fire is fantastic. But you're like, when you're prone to yellow cards or dangerous behavior that can lead to red cards,
you can't have that.
You can't have that, and it could cost the game for Italy in that aspect. So, and that's my point with Gatti. Now Gatti's not an attitude issue nor a character issue. It's more of he's got flaws to his game. They all do. Every player has flaws to their game. It's not to say that he's terrible. It's something that's a bit. It's also a liability as well. And I don't have the greatest confidence. And I'm really saying this with as unbiased opinion as possible. Like, I don't have that much confidence in him yet. I say he's third on the list. I think I have to agree with your point, Adriano, that it's probably Bastoni and Acerbi that's going to be the starting two, because Acerbi.
I like Scalvini.
Oh, Scalvini's a good shot.
I think Scalvini's even ahead of Gatti. Like you're right, Gianni.
He has to be,
like,
for sure.
Like, Gatti is actually not even that good defensively, and I watch him every week. He makes a lot of mistakes. He gets the praise because he scores goals.
Yeah.
He's still good. It's just that he could be better.
That's why for me he's on the bubble for now. I'll keep him on the bubble for now. We're December. We're not even into the new year yet. I want to see how he continues on to this season. Scalvini was a name that I liked, that was introduced into the setup by Mancini. Hopeful for Spalletti to maybe give him a look. I know he's still young. I think he just turned 20 this past week or so, if I'm not mistaken. So he's obviously still young, but his presence, his ability, obviously the game over the weekend with Milan, you get to see him a bit more, but yeah, he's definitely improved, and he's been developing pretty quickly. So I would like to see him get, kind of like we're all like up in air, like, oh, Raspadori got called up for Euro 2020. Oh, who Like, I mean, yeah, okay, he did okay, whatever. He's on the bench. He soaked it all in. He made that move to Napoli. He's now, he was a prominent figure last year off the bench, and even when he started, he's still on the squad now. So maybe one of those types of situations for Scalvini. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's I think we had a different conversation last season when we were talking about stuff of this nature, because we had guys like Casale or like Romagnoli who played out of their minds, and we're like, okay, they're shoo-ins now, but it's crazy how things change so fast, right? So yeah, but to answer your question, Nick, for the overall discussion there, for me, I'm keeping him on the bubble for now until either he proves me otherwise, or that he really actually deserves this spot. Because for me, it can't just be the name anymore. It really has to become on merit, and we'll see if he merits come June.
Yeah, no, that's fair. He's also one of those guys that would probably benefit from an injury. Like, if there's an injury above him, he gets into the squad. If not, he has to really work his way onto the squad. The team above Juve 4-0 Inter against Udinese, just a classic Inter beatdown. I mean, every weekend it feels like Juve's playing first, so they get the temporarily first place. And I always tweet "Salutate la capolista," even though I know it's temporary. And then Inter goes out, and they get their 3 points. But 4 goals, 4 different goal scorers: Hakan, Di Marco, Thuram, and Lautaro. 3 goals in 5 minutes against Udinese. I mean, I feel like there was some debate on Twitter. Well, yeah, Udinese sucks.
Udinese has been terrible this year.
I don't know. I forget where they are in the table, but not where they're normally at. They're in 17th. They're right on the cusp of relegation. They're not good. I know there was a debate on Twitter. I think it was from IFT, if Inter is the best team in the world. I mean, you could make the argument. Are they the best team in the world? Probably not. Like Man City and Real are just better than them. They're good. They're great. Inter. I've always said it. They're even better than Juve. They made the Champions League final for a reason last season, but Man City's a powerhouse right now. And for me, Man City's the best team in the world. Because when you make the best team in the world argument, you're basically just talking about the best team in Europe. I know teams in Saudi Arabia have been getting better, splashing all this money at old guys, but nothing matches the teams in Europe, the top teams at least.
No, I agree there. I mean, best team in the world, I don't know. I guess it really depends. But again, you got to give them you take off your bias caps, and you got to give them their praise as well. They did make the Champions League final last year. They did, go toe-to-toe with, like Nick said, his best team in the world, Man City. They went toe-to-toe with them, and it was a 1-0, blast of a shot by Rodri that it went straight in. So they're there. They've gotten better. Obviously, we've spoken about it before. They're the best team in Italy, that's for sure. We've already said that. But yeah, best team in the world. I mean, they're probably in the mix if people want to be if people want to go that route. But I don't know. Real is always a step above, even though they've obviously not been the same Real as in past years, but they're always still there. The Man Cities of the world now seem to be there. So in the past it was the Bayern Munichs of the world, the Barcelonas, the Uniteds. So I don't know if that time has passed, but so there's still some powerhouses in Europe. I think Inter probably are somewhere in that mix, but if they're top of that list, I guess it depends who you ask.
I mean, Man City's not even the best team in the Prem right now. I'm just kidding. I mean, they're
there you go. You can argue that fact too.
They're fourth in league, but obviously it's just league standings. They're 4 points behind Liverpool, but obviously just because Liverpool's having a better league campaign than City. But I mean, they're in form. They're in really good form. Inter. So in current form, you can make that argument, but you have to. I don't know. You have to see them against these teams. I think if they can continue this form and reach another Champions League final, then yeah, you could say that they're arguably one of the better teams in the world. But to say the best, it has to come with the hardware. It has to come with the silverware. Honestly speaking, last year.
But is Man City only the best just because they won last season? That's the only reason why.
Well, no, they won the treble last season. That's the thing. They won the triplete last season. So.
And they just splash money unfairly and
exactly.
Get the best players.
So then that's my question. So they're the best how? Because you know what I mean? Like where they're the best because they're winning and they're spending all the money, or so Inter back in 2010 they were the best team in the world?
Yeah, I would argue that.
I mean, they won the Club World Cup, no?
Well, they won the triplete then too.
Did they?
That's I don't know.
Yeah, 2010 they were the best team in the
world.
Won
yeah. So I guess. And I don't know. They didn't really. They had good players. Don't get me wrong. They brought in some good players too. But I don't know. It's a different time, so I guess you can't compare. But I don't know. Man City. It bothers me the route that they go to become the best team in the world. But you know what? They finally won the Champions League. They won, their trouble. So you got to give them their praise too, I guess.
Sometimes it's like the way I compare it is like it's like a hockey goal, it's like crash the net. Who cares? As long as the puck goes in, it goes in. That's what you care about at the end of the day. You know, you think Brett Hall cares about the way he scored the overtime winner to win the cup for the Stars back in '99? Was it '99 or 2000? 2000. It was 2000. No, '99.
99.
99 when the Stars won. Think he cares how he scored? No, it was the goal that got him the Stanley Cup. So at the end of the day, that's what matters. It's who cares how much you spend, as long as you reach your end goal of winning a Champions League trophy. There you go. And sometimes it's all it takes. It just takes that first win to break the ice and and make it a bit more consistent or make it happen a bit more often. So now it's really hard to be repeat champions in any league or any competition.
But, yeah, I agree.
But so that's another thing that remains to be seen. But I think it's fair to say that it's City, even though right now they're not doing the best in the Prem. But if we're looking at it right now, the way Inter's been playing in all competitions, you have to include them in the mix. You have to we give them an honorable mention. Real Madrid had a very rough start too, so it's like right now, I wouldn't it's still Real. At the end of the day, it's still Real Madrid.
Yeah, exactly.
But they had a very rough start too, so they haven't been consistent in form. Inter has been consistent in form. That's why.